for the sake of time, I'll give my answer. What's in the air and feel it. Tess actually said it. Anxiety. I think first you said mental imbalance, which is very true, but tremendous amount of anxiety on the planet right now. And it's making you feel anxious. You're making all of you feel anxious. What is anxiety? Linda, what's anxiety? Not that you ever have it, but being around Caldera and me.
A tense uncomfortableness.
But what?
Anything.
Anything.
Any things that are beyond your control.
Okay. The presumption that they are beyond your control. Okay.
Right.
So there is this tremendous feeling of anxiety everywhere on the planet right now. And you become aware of it in the visible, the things you can feel and see, like the strange weather, smoke or floods or whatever happens to be. But what's really happening, if you feel into it, and don't go mental, just sense into it, tremendous anxiety. Anxiety comes when people, groups, don't really understand what's going to happen next. I think you have a saying here, when the other shoe falls, but you're not sure when it's going to drop and what's going to happen when it drops. Everybody knows at some sort of level, every human on the planet knows that there's something up right now. And it's not like before. It's not like the other things. As David said right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's 100 in terms of the changes taking place. And if you really don't understand what's happening, and if you don't really kind of know the direction things are going in, what comes next, not the details, but kind of the evolution of things, it is very frightening. It leads to anxiety. Then what happens, somebody gets anxiety, and they start thinking about it, as you might know. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? Or even, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? And then they try to correct it in their mind. That creates the mental imbalance right there, because they're trying to figure it out in their mind, and the answer isn't in the mind. The answer is there, but it's not here. Then they get anxiety. Anxiety takes away the breath. Anxiety causes a lot of things like sleeplessness and drinking too much or smoking too much of the marijuana. People then try to cope with and manage the anxiety in strange ways. And some do it in what I would consider very mentally and physically healthy ways. Go out for a long walk. Get away from other people for a while. Get out of your head. Get out of all the logic that's going through trying to figure out. And Shambra, you're experts at this. You almost invented it. You take it on yourself. What's wrong with me? Rather than saying, what's going on all around me? I'm fine. I'm really just fine. But why am I sensing all the anxiety, all the strangeness? And then that's right, because we're going through a huge transformation right now, and I can't say that enough. And it's not one of these, predictions into the future, things that might happen. You're right in the midst of it. It's all right here, right now. And it's precisely why you're here. It's you decided to come in, right in the midst of all this anxiety that's happening on the planet right now. It's not yours. No, it really isn't. You'll fight me on that at times. We argue and go back and forth. Tad, you're one of my favorites. We argue back and forth. And I particularly like it after you've had about 2 glasses of wine. You and me arguing in the other realms, and it's spiritual wine. And you just argue, and you get so... Gary's going, I know what he's talking about. And I like that, because you're feisty, you're rambunctious, you're not going to settle for anything other than what you came here for. You're not going to get pushed off to the side or distracted, but boy, do you argue about things. And one of the things you argue with me about is, what's wrong with you? And I say, Tad, there's nothing wrong with you. other than you wonder what's wrong with you. Well, there's something wrong with me because if there wasn't, my life would be, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with you once you accept that, and once you settle into it, you'll be fine, and Gary will be much better. Namaste, brother. And that wasn't a $20, that was $100. And so there's this tremendous anxiety. Could we just stop for a moment and realize, please, it's not yours. It's really not. You take it on, you feel it, you sense it, you get anxious, you get kind of all wacky and weird. We're at the right place at the right time. The planet is at the right place. I will live, and I can't die, but so I'll live and whatever by the statement that everything's just the way it should be right now. We're right on plan, a little bit ahead of schedule, actually, for the planet. Now, there are different ways to do things, but humans tend to choose oftentimes the way of suffering. I don't want to get on the suffering kick today. I have some other rants to go through, so that won't be one of them. But one of the things I like to do with Shambra, who go forward after today, if we get that far.
Is it going that far?
Yeah. I had my warm-up recently, my practice run, and now I'm ready for the real thing. One of the things we're going to do is it's up to you, but it's time that this whole concept of suffering on the planet changes. It is unnecessary, but it's ingrained deeply. Every time you walk by a church and you see my buddy hanging there, if you know what I mean, it's like it's a reminder to everybody, suffer. It's just become a way on the planet. And what kind of bothers me is people have accepted this suffering. What's the way? It's being human. No, it's not the way. And it's one of our things we're going to do in our new series. Apparently, the name's been released. The Art of Benching. We're going to bench, and there's no agenda. But one of the things that says shine our light into suffering itself, right into the belly of suffering, into the bowels of this thing they call suffering, shine the light, and to release it. Why suffering? Who would have? So if you had this perfectly clean, open slate and said, what would I like to do? I'm going to go to this planet Earth. I'm going to take on a physical body. Well, that's suffering number one. Remember that next time you create a planet. But why the element of suffering? It's just unnecessary. That's one of the things to look forward to in our new series. But back to the point. Anxiety is everywhere, and it's not going to settle down. And people are, as Tess said, mental imbalance. They're going to start really going crazy. Everything up to now has been a warm-up, just getting ready for real crazy on the planet. Well, no, it's true. You're going to see it all around you. But please remember, as we go into our next series and you sit on your park bench, wow, we're right where we should be. Old things getting shaken up. COVID doing such a brilliant job of shaking things up at the deepest levels, and everything gets shaken up. For you, there's not a thing to worry about. And I'm going to make sure of that if I have to do some real butt kicking here today, which I will.
And that's going to help our anxiety.
Absolutely. So pessimistic, Linda. Can't you turn that into something good? Thank you, Adamus, for coming along and making sure if we're going to stay that we're going to be healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Or you're going to kick our ass.
No, today, not later. Yeah, just today. All right. So, question before we go any further. There's this tremendous anxiety on the planet. Could you please take a moment to realize it's not yours? It's really not. Yeah, you have some of your other anxieties, but they're pretty small. Anxiety of how do I, well, I'll do that when I kick your butts later.